got a cool one to show off. I was trying to wait till the daughter was done with drums, but guess not. Guess we're just gonna go for it. I can hear him. You guys probably can't hear him, but I can hear him. So might throw off my concentration a little bit. But we've got a 367 dial mod. Took one of these. You've probably seen me do this dial a couple times. It's a very classic black dial. The bass movement that it comes on has a black date wheel on it, so kind of ghosts in there pretty nicely. The white obviously stands out pretty bright, so if you ever pull this dial and then swap it onto another movement, you actually notice the white pretty bright, and it doesn't really go with anything else. But it has nice gold accents on it. Comes with a gold handset with a white seconds hand, so I did one of my real thick gold handsets on there, and then did a black ghosted seconds hand on there. And in person you can see it decently, but if you kick it a little bit to the side, you definitely see it. But straight on, it can be a little rough to find, but I'm kind of a fan of that. But it's the extended long one, so it goes all the way out to the gold. I did a gold tension ring inside the glass that adds that extra waterproofness. Not that you necessarily take a watch with the leather strap in the water, but regardless, put that all the way out there. This is in a brushed 350 Commandersky case, and those only come with a 100-meter rated glass. So I did the Amphibia glass in this one with that gold tension ring. So brush case, if you ever nick it, just brush it in with the green side of a Scotch-Brite. Did the anchor on the crown. Did a gilded aggressive shark tooth on this, and then I had a minute insert that was in gold accents. So, well, I guess you said gold, but yeah, gold's probably correct. It's just, it's not yellow, it's not brown, but it is a slightly different tone. But it all works well with this. One of the big things he really liked was this Italian leather strap. This is one of my straps that's a non-stitch strap. You know, up the sides, it's got painted edges on it. It's real thick and pliable. It's one of my aviator style straps. Has this little fold over accent rivet that we screw down. A couple extra stitches thrown in just to kind of give it that vintagey look to it, with a brushed clasp on it. Low profile exhibition caseback. Gilded rotor inside there. And one of the cool, I've got two different gilded style rotors, so I went with that one. It's more of a flat rather than the one that has the lines going down it, the one that's a little bit shinier. So gilded rotor in there. And that's your build. So these builds come with a non-clickable bezel. You can turn them left, you can turn them right. I just put them on with a little bit extra tension, and that was one of the reasons I used this bezel in Gilded. It is a little bit tighter. Whenever you buy these stock, they are pretty flimsy. You can just kind of spin them around. Okay, Google, volume at 10%. So they'll turn left, they'll turn right. I put them on quite tight to where you kind of have to work it if you're wanting to adjust that. Now, I've already set the date on this thing, so you're just going to have to listen to what I explain, but I can't show you. But you can look through my other videos and find one with a date wheel. Any of the Hind builds would have a date wheel. Most of my, all of my custom dials, none of them have it. So how you work with a date wheel is there's no actual date setting. So I'll show you how this part works. So if you're not, if it's dead or you're not going to be very active, you want to make sure you wind it up just a little bit before you put it on, because you can't just put it on and wiggle your wrists around and then hope for the best that you're keeping time. If you're not going to be very active, make sure you just wind it up just a little bit before you set your time, just to make sure you're fine. And how you do that is you back the crown off the threads until you hear it and feel it clicking. You'll feel a little bit of play. You'll know you're off those. Like there's a little bit of play there. You're off those. Man, why am I drawing a blank? The crown tube. So you know that you're off those threads, and at that point you can wind. And a wind is a turn away from you. Turning it back towards you doesn't do anything, but it's a lot easier to keep your finger spacing and just go back and forth. So if you do this for 4 or 5 seconds before you put it on, even if you're not very active, you will keep time throughout the day. So if you're driving or sitting at a desk or something. If you do it for something closer to 20 seconds, you're going to max out your 31 plus hour power reserve on it, which is what I do, because I wind these up, set them down, and make sure that they're good to go the next day. You can't overwind it. You can wind this all day if you want. Whenever you're good with your winding, you can now go into your time setting. You cannot go from time setting back into winding. You'll have to reset your clutch. So you wind it for as far as you need to. You pull it to the one and only click, and you can now set your time. It does not have a hacking movement, so it's going to keep going. Now you'll notice there's nothing set for this 3. So I'm going to explain how you do it, and it's very simple. There's no quick date set. This is the same platform they've been using for decades. And it works. Nothing's broke. They don't have to fix anything. A lot of people are wearing these watches every day. Where these watches come from. So they're not just jumping from watch to watch to watch every day going, oh crap, They're wearing it every day. So once they set it, they're fairly decent on keeping the date. But how you do this is you're going to advance. Let's say it's the 15th. You haven't worn this watch for 12 days, and you're like, I want it to say 15. Great, you can do that. It's not hard. You're going to wind this all the way around until you get to midnight. This should, around maybe 5 minutes till midnight, will advance forward, okay, to 4. You're going to wind back, and whenever you get, if you're watching on your dial, if you're watching down here, about 9 o'clock, you'll see it's starting to reverse, and then it drops back down, okay? Take it all the way to 8 o'clock. Go back to 8 o'clock. I mean, it's just another little spin. You can see how quick you can move these things, right? Right? You just go back another one to make sure you're past that point. Then advance it back to 12, and it will advance to 4. You go back to 8, up to 12 again, and it will advance to 5. It's very quick to do. You're just going to go, you advance 4 hours, boom. You're going to go back 4 hours, boom. You're going to go back 4 hours. That's literally all you're going to do. You're going to just go back and forth, okay? That's how you do it. Now, just a pro tip. Watch your time. Watch your watch your date wheel. Sometimes, and it's only happened a couple times to me, but sometimes I've noticed it won't advance a day. Let's say it makes the noise, but like you were looking at it said 5, and then it didn't go to 6. This might be a pain for you. Go ahead and go all the way around 24 hours and make sure it advances that day. Because what can happen is it can be slightly off track, and if you go back and do that quick set again, it might pop it off that track. I've found that every time that I've had that issue, and I've tried to advance it another date, it's popped off the track and has to be completely disassembled and fixed. But I've found that if I've gone ahead and just done the 24-hour, it advanced it. I've had 2 that popped off the track, and I've had 2 that I've fixed. Just doing that. So, just throwing it out there that if you're one of those people that have to have that date being the same, and you're watching it, and you notice that, like, I don't think that advanced today right there. I think I heard a click, but I don't think it advanced. Just do the 24. You can knock it out real fast, I promise. I mean, there's 3 hours, 4 hours right there. You just times 6. That took, 2 seconds? So just go ahead and do it. Make sure, watch it advance, and then go back to the 4 hours. Oh, okay. Yeah, it did. It was fine. So just a pro tip, entirely up to you. So I've had 2 customers where that's what it was. I said, did you, no, I kept doing that. Okay, we got to fix it. So, but the 2 times that I've had it and I've done that, it's been fine. So that's all. That's just my tip to you. Okay, Google, what time is it?
It's 3:05 p.m.
Also, you're going to notice when you pull out that one and only click, you've got a wobble crown. This deflects lateral pressure from going into the stem and into the movement. So when you're pushing and prying on it, you're not bending, you're putting any adverse pressure on there. So if you kind of pull it straight, you won't even feel it, but you can see right here, just like a little ball joint on there. So that is a wobble crown. That is built in. That's supposed to be part of that. The stem and the crown come attached from the factory. That is not anything that's wrong. So when you're done, push it back over to where you're meeting the head of this back to the threads, and screw it down. And that's it. That's the build. As with every build, it's going to come with matching beads. Entirely up to you whether you wear them or not. And then this build, since this is one of my Vostok builds, comes in one of my vintage Vostok slider boxes. Real simple. I just protect it nicely and then put it in there. So it's just going to be in a box like that. You just grab it, slide it down. This lip is a little bit taller, so that's the part that kind of holds it, kind of locks it up under here. So you got a nice little finger spot going across here. You can just crack it back down. So that's it. This build will come with watch cleaner. This is good on all glass and metal parts, non-toxic, non-residue, non-streaking. So everything there in the center. It's going to come with leather conditioner. This is good to keep this leather strap perfectly soft. Apply it on both sides, let it soak in, remove any excess, and it will keep this perfectly soft. You might be applying it maybe in 6 months' time. And then lastly, you're going to have some fine scratch remover. This is Novus 2 from Amazon. Just repackaged. It's like Polywatch because you've got an acrylic glass and you can scratch it. If you do, no big deal. Put a tiny bit of this on it. Buff against the scratch. Don't go with the flow of the scratch. Go against it to fill the scratch. Use your included microfiber that your watch will be wrapped up in, and just buff it out using your thumb, and you should knock it out in about 20 seconds. So that is your build, man. I appreciate you a ton. I'm glad that you wanted to go with this, and then I had one on hand. Technically, I have that dial on hand, but I don't always have movements on hand with a black date wheel. So the white date wheel is just kind of... I get a lot of Commandersky watches with date wheels on them, and they're always white. So typically, my donor watches will have a white date wheel, and they're not a black. So a lot of the 090 cases and this particular one comes in that. So I'm glad I had it for you, and we were able to knock it out so quick. So if you want me to build you something custom and unique, reach out and I'll see what I can do. And if you want to continue to see videos like this, like and subscribe as I put them up all the time. Thanks, guys.